Renanim, ¿cómo está? And hello. Welcome back to another episode of Grace Daily, hosted by Grace International Baptist Church here in Chuuk, Micronesia. Really glad to have you joining us today. This week we're going through Psalm 124, and that will be what the sermon is about this coming Sunday. And so I would encourage you to please go ahead and read through this psalm. It's really short. It'll take you about 30 seconds to read through it in whichever language you prefer. And I just want you to have that kind of meditating in your heart for a while. Today, we are looking at just two verses. Verses 4 and 5 say, "Then the waters had overwhelmed us. The stream had gone over our soul. Then the proud waters had gone over our soul." So I know here in Chuuk, our roads, at least to us, are famous for how bad they can get. And I live up here in Po, and so in Nantaku, Po, that area. And so I live not far off of the paved road, but I live off of the paved road enough to drive and hit a bunch of bumps a lot of times. And I feel like it never fails. Whenever they come and, very rarely, but whenever they come and scrape the road, not long afterwards, we'll get a giant downpouring of rain. And Tanakchao is right over there for us, and then we've got the hill, like the other kind of bottom of Tanakchao is back here. So where we're at, it all funnels. We've got the other mountain over here, so we're in this funnel area. And it never fails. It will rain. The road will become one giant stream, and at the end of it, the road is completely restructured. It's like a new road, different potholes to worry about or figure out how to navigate. And I'm sure that you know exactly what I'm talking about. No matter where you live at on this island, we've all experienced it. Water is a very powerful, destructive agent. And that is where we're going at this morning in this psalm. The psalmist, which it's ascribed to David, the psalmist uses this water analogy to talk about how destructive these things were that were happening to them. And so water is often in the Bible used as an analogy of overwhelming difficulty. And we can see things like that in Lamentations 3:54, or Isaiah 8, 7, and 8, and really all throughout the Word of God, we see how water can be both a blessing and then it can also be destructive. Noah's Ark and all of these types of things, these floods. And so here, remember we're in this poetry, so he's going to take this water analogy and really tease it out. He's going to make it really known. Water, whatever this water coming after them is difficult. The waters that overwhelmed us. This word for overwhelmed just really means to overpower them or to engulf them, right? To like a tsunami flood. Just there's nothing you can do about it. It's coming, and it's going to just completely overpower you. If you've ever seen the videos of tsunamis coming in, structures that you think can't be moved get swept away like they're nothing. And that's the idea of what's happening here. And then you have the stream had gone over our soul. Well, for me, when I think of stream, I think of a really pretty little babbling brook. What the psalmist most likely had in mind here, and I think you've seen pictures of this in our lessons before through 1 Samuel. You had these things called wadis. So remember, you're dealing with Israel, very mountainous areas, but also very dry. And in the bottom of these valleys would be like a dried up riverbed. And then when there would be a substantial amount of rain, it would have these wadi streams that would just gush through. And that's the idea of this unstoppable, we're in this funneled area and there's water just pouring out after us. It's coming after us. And then, excuse me, and then he talks about the proud waters. And this word proud has the idea of boiling or raging or out of control. And so in all of this, we don't really necessarily know the instance in which David is writing. People have different ideas, but we don't know for sure exactly when he's writing this. But what we do know is this is kind of a universal difficulty, isn't it? You and I oftentimes have circumstances, or more often people, that are like this boiling, out of control, raging water. And it is coming after us, and there's nothing that we seem to be able to do about it. There's always going to be tumultuous times in life. Always these waters and these floods that are coming after us. And I kind of want to leave us there today, and I want us to have this angst, this idea that, man, yeah, water, it's coming after us. It is difficult. And when David was writing this, he felt overwhelmed. He felt like there was nothing he could do to stop that water, no matter what he wanted to do, except, as we know later, he'll talk about how the Lord was the only one able to deliver him. So today, as you meditate, as you go about your day and you notice, man, this is another difficulty coming at me, rather than being surprised, rather than being depressed, rather than being taken back, be ready for it. We know the waters are coming. We know difficulty is always around the corner, and yet God is our hope. And we'll talk more about that through the week. Until then, grace and peace, my friends.